was so close. I was so close. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. So close. Well. What are you going to do? I hope everyone's having a good day. It is Tuesday, 1 o'clock p.m. on the Pacific Coast. Glad to be here with you all. Let me... sorry, got some schmutz on my screen. Let me pop over to the actual... what's my channel? YouTube. Hope everyone... Don't start harming the hero. Upset. That's because. Oh no. All right. Today's episode. Men are stronger than women, and we are 2 minutes in, and only 3 people are watching. Just you and me, Nikki. Yeah. Nikki, did you get your notification? Does saying men are stronger than women throttle my video? It's an interesting experiment, isn't it? It's a very interesting experiment. Yeah, let me know if you're coming in and you got your notification. You didn't? Crusader, Thor, how about you guys? I'm gonna share this out. Let's see. Not getting notifications? Men are stronger than women. All right. Now I'm not gonna poke around. Just perfect timing. No notification. No notification. No notification. Reported for hate speech. Just coincidence. No, I don't think I've been. Usually we have at least 15, 20 people in here by the first minute, and we're 3 minutes in. 3 minutes in, and we've got 5 people watching. Easy answer for transgenders who want to compete. Just make an open weight category. Yeah, I mean, yeah, have no categories. That's fine. Yeah, so I guess you all know what the topic is about. Ooh, Trashfire got notification. Right on. All right, so yeah, hope everyone had a great Monday. I got very nearly half of a page done for Monster Hunt. Look at all my background. So fun stuff. Can't wait to finish this one today. Then going out to dinner tonight with my wife for her birthday. It's actually her birthday tomorrow, but tonight is the fun. Aloha level 3. Hit that like, hit that share, hit them notifications if you don't have it set already. Yeah, so subtitle: Transgender athlete wins women's weightlifting event at the Pacific Games. My wife sometimes wonders why I do these political things. This is what comes up on ChristianHeadlines.com. If these are the topics that ChristianHeadlines.com wants to focus on, then hey, who am I to judge? So smash that like button, my people. Thank you, level 3. Yeah, 9 watching, 5 likes. You know what? I'm going to go ahead with my channel. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find what... I think I did get one comment for yesterday's episode of Early Church Polygamy. And I'm sorry if I am cross-streaming with Doug dyeing his hair, but he's going to be there for a while, and I need to do cross-examinations first thing. So, 2 comments I got. Great stream. California Doug is chill. And now California Doug is dyeing his hair like a flag. Was that a stretch goal? I have no idea. I actually have no idea. D. Pettum says, just a distinction. It is the oldest surviving letter on the original papyrus, but there are plenty of Christian documents that are older. I know. Early church fathers writings are all saved. Well, not all, but a lot of them. We just don't have the original, only copies, e.g. the letters of Ignatius of Antioch are at least a century older. Greeks and Romans were monogamous, but divorce was common, and men were not expected to be faithful to their wives. By Jesus' time, Jews were monogamous, but they also allowed for divorce. Early Christian attitudes about marriage were more strict. Not only was only one wife allowed, but divorce was prohibited, and many Christians believed that remarriage after death of the spouse was sinful. I would like to know what your sources are for that. Original sources would be great. I do want to have more information is better than less. So if you have sources, please do add those. I don't have any other comment other than that. Last Crusader says, I'm 195 pounds. I could smash women's records. An actual big guy might as well have superpowers. Yeah, it would be... It's just, yeah. I don't really know. Usually I like to wait and get into the topic about halfway through the episode. But it seems you guys want to talk about it now. Let's not do that. I'm going to go into Isaiah. I was reading Isaiah yesterday. Where's Leviticus? Transgender? Leviticus. Alright, let's go. Isaiah. Or 9? Was this the one I was... No. No, it wasn't this one. If I had my phone on me, I could look this up much faster. No, that's not the one I was reading either. Should I go take my phone from JoJo? He's playing with it. Any idea when Shay's Rebellion stream can happen? Mecca asks. I don't know. I'd have to go back and do some study on it, and I don't really have the time. You know what? Let's do King James Bible instead. King James Bible online. Search for verse Isaiah. Chapter. Dang it. I'm sorry. This is terrible video. Alright, I'm just going to start here. Isaiah 37. Let's see if I can turn this on. Transition. Let us read, shall we? 50-year anniversary of the moon landing, Mike. Don't be a communist propagandist. I don't want to get into that today. Not right now, anyways. Maybe later. I don't know if I'll have time later. I should print 50 of the troll cover and send them all to John. The problem is changing the covers are expensive. It's not super expensive, but switching out another cover is not. It's not free. It's not like, oh yeah, just make 50 of these. All right, Isaiah chapter 37, and it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord, and sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth unto Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of blasphemy. For the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master hath sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus saith the Lord, Be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servant of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rabshakeh returned, and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And he heard say concerning Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, He is come forth to make war with thee. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, in whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands by destroying them utterly, and shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan, and Haran, and Rezep, and the children of Eden, which were in Telassar? The children of Eden. That's interesting. Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arphad, and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, Hena, and Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers, and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord, and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed unto the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, that dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Incline thine ear, O Lord, and hear. Open thy eyes, O Lord, and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which hath sent to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste to all nations and their countries, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord, even thou only. Should I read this whole thing? No. I think that's a good place to stop. So yeah, Hezekiah. Man, I was reading the I can't remember the chapter was, but where Hezekiah, God told Hezekiah he was going to die that night, and then Hezekiah turned and lamented and prayed to God, and God's like, well, okay, I'll give you 15 more years. Yeah, children of Eden. I never heard that before either. That was interesting. But God's point was, it's like Hezekiah is all trembling and afraid, but Hezekiah was a king after God's heart. Hezekiah was one of the good kings. There weren't a whole lot of good kings in Israel, but Hezekiah was one of the good kings. But he had fear and doubt, and he turns to God, or he turns to Isaiah. Actually, he turns to God. Isaiah is the middleman. In fear. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy is gonna come and kill everybody and blah 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 blah. And then God just reminds him, hey, what happened to all these other guys that Israel has been threatened by? Right? If they were all gone, all the kings of those nations were killed. But it's the nature of man. It was the nature of Jews as sort of the embodiment of mankind, right? Because you read the Old Testament and you see miracle after miracle in the lives of Israel and Judah. And then you always end up back with men falling back on their own, not resources, but they fall back on themselves rather than leaning into God. They always lean back into themselves. And it's, yeah, like I'm saying, in you see it as the embodiment of a nation in the Bible, but it's really the way we all are. If you don't write down, if you don't make record and think about all the miracles that God has taken you through in your life, how easy is it for you to forget? And just when you face trouble, tribulation, a threat, a challenge, you just get scared. And rather than saying, oh yeah, I mean Jesus promised, just lay all my worries on him and he will take care of me. Rather than feeling like that, we revert to self, as was done here. I by no means intend to imply that it's like, oh, look how bad the Jews are. No, I'm saying that the Jews were human, and we as humans all tend to have that same failing when it comes to always keeping our faith and our trust in the Lord. And we're all guilty of it. I don't think I know anyone who is always just be like, any trouble comes upon them, they're just like, oh, the Lord will take care of everything. I never. We all tend to worry, even though we got the Bible's explicit that we should not worry, that God will take care of us. Yeah. Ionic Blood says social media made the world suck. I don't know if that's. Well, okay, that's. Social media is a tool. It can be used for good or ill. I try to use it for good. I have used it for ill. Hi all, no notification. Yeah, nobody's getting notifications, Xgal. I think one person said they got notifications. If you did get notifications, tell me. I know that one person said they did. Trashfire said they got notifications. Yeah, there's only 18 people watching, and how far into this episode are we? My goodness. We are 18 minutes in and 18 people watching. That's one person per minute. We can't affect souls, though they are irrelevant, but we can affect meat stacks. So they are irrelevant. Actually, we can affect souls. We can affect souls. We can be good witnesses to those souls, and we can help those souls to come to know God, come to know the truth. Daniel got his notifications 2 minutes ago. Thunderbird got his notification 10 minutes late. Victor the Ripper got his notification. AML did not. Alright, well. I'll never understand how this all works. AML says this world has become a degenerate landfill. I can't... I don't know. I have a little more hope. I know there's a lot of this craziness is getting out there, and they're really trying to push. But again, keep in mind, a third of the angels fell. A third of the angels walked with God, talked with God, watched. Perhaps, I don't know the exact timeline, but watched God create heaven and earth. Right? And a third of them still rejected him. So, if this is terrible, what the heck? Oh my goodness. Yeah, if that's the case, I don't know. What are we supposed to expect out of just your average human being? A third of them A third of them at the end of the millennium, after having lived with God for 1,000 years, reject God. Right? A third of mankind will bail and join Satan at the end of the millennium. So if we can't expect a third of the people to ever do anything right, or vote the right way, or believe the right way. So I'm not saying that you should write a third of the people off, right? We do what we can to mitigate those losses by being good, by being reflective of God's love on earth. We just do what we can. We do our part, and that's all we're responsible for, right? But we're never going to have a perfect land. I mean, again, even in the millennium, 1,000 years with Christ reigning on earth, it's not going to be perfect. You guys think it's going to be perfect? The millennium ain't going to be perfect. Heaven will be perfect. Heaven. But that's not the millennium. Victor the Ripper says, whoa, when is this happening? The year 3000? I don't have a calendar for it, Victor, but it's at the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. How much do you think social media has caused or exposed the madness of the world? I think exposed is actually the better word there, Daniel. I think for a lot of people, they would have these internalized hatreds and biases and whatnot, and you wouldn't know about it, right? You wouldn't know about it. You think the guys, I don't know, how would social media have helped in communist Russia, right? If you're on social media and you're not saying anything, and your neighbor who you've hung out at the bar with, who you've shared dinner with his family, he's on there saying, if you don't love Stalin, then I will send you to the gulag. How much better would it have been to know that you can't say anything in front of that guy? Right? How good would it be to know that you can't say anything in front of that particular guy because of social media, and he's just made it known, right? I hate to bag on Scott Kurtz, but his example of how he reacted to his friend of a decade on a particular stream where he was on with that particular friend, and the friend was saying, hey, I spoke out about my Christian beliefs, and because of that, I lost this job and I lost that job, or they're trying to keep me from being able to make a living. And Scott Kurtz, just his friend of a decade, says, was it worth it? Being able to speak your mind? Like, whoa, dude. So how insane is that there are people who pretend to have your best interest at heart, but they think your best interest is shutting up and never being able to say what you actually believe, or you don't deserve to make a living. Your children don't deserve dinner on their table. Your car doesn't deserve gas to get you to work. I don't know. I think exposed is the right word, Daniel. I think exposing these, what do you call them? Hate mongers. They have hatred in their heart for people who disagree with them. I don't know how else to say it. Coincidentally, the left is about a third of the population. Isn't that strange, WK? Last Crusader says, as a Christian, do you think it's possible that the 1,000-year rule of Christ might not have even started yet? Of course it hasn't started yet. No one. Christ will be here. He will be reigning from the temple in Jerusalem. That is the 1,000-year reign of Christ. The 1,000-year reign of Christ comes after he wipes out the armies of the Antichrist. So, yeah. Hey, Aaron's here. You're really late, brother. Really, really late, Aaron. Sit at the back of the class. Last Crusader says, we all want to be important, and in an important time doing important things. We might just be here to test ourselves. Well, what is important to one person isn't, that's sort of subjective, right? I just want to do what's important to God, whatever God put me here for. If he put me here for my entire career in order that I could have 20 people watching me on a Tuesday afternoon, does that seem important to global politics? No. But if I say something that changes one person's life, would that be incredibly important? Yeah. I mean, it's subjective, so it is what it is. To add to that, how much, says Daniel, how much do you think social media has helped those people of a more religious persuasion spread the message of God? It's helped me. Social media was my, and this goes back to message boards on AOL, but this was my education in theology, because I would go and I'd talk to people like Aaron, I'd talk to people like Scott Kurtz, I'd talk to people like Ethan and John Byrne and what's that guy that did The Walking Dead? That guy, I can't remember his name. The guy who created Walking Dead. Anyways, I used back on those old AOL boards. I used to argue with them, and I would spend 7-8 hours a day on social media, fielding questions from atheists and atheists and non-believers, non-Christians, and taking on every single question that was asked of me, to find answers. And I would scour the internet, I would read books, and I would try to make sure that I had a reasonable, logical answer for every question that was ever asked of me, because that's what I believed. If the Bible was true, as my conclusion had been from the prophecy, medical, scientific foreknowledge, etc., if the Bible is true, then no question waged against it can fail to have a logical, reasonable answers. Are there illogical and unreasonable answers? Yes, there are. But as a person of logic and reason myself, Robert Kirkman, I had to dismiss all the illogical, unreasonable answers that I found, and I would only retort with logic and reason. And so I did that for years, and that was because of social media. So social media was my, what do they call that? When seminary. Social media was my seminary, and it was good. And then from that, I even reached people during these discussions who I became friends with. Kevin Grievous, one of them, was one of those guys who was asking questions, but he was asking questions from a believer's perspective. And I've used it to speak about my faith ever since. That's over 20 years now. 22 years maybe. So yeah, I think it's done. Like I said, it's a tool. It can be used for good. You can be used for ill. You can take a hammer and you can build a house. You can take a hammer and you can bash somebody's head in. It's a tool. It depends on the hand of the wielder. The heart of the wielder? It depends how you use it. Liam Gray for $5 says, Facebook is the only way I ever get notifications, but I have to come over here to Super Chat. Yes, you do, because while this is live streaming on Facebook, if you do want to talk to me, I'm not paying attention to Facebook. So if you have questions, comments from Facebook, you have to come over to the YouTube link. That is blacklistuniverse.com, easiest way to get over here. Kevin Grievous from Underworld. Yes, Kevin Grievous from Underworld. Or do you feel that social media is acting as more of a religious suppression? They're trying now. They're certainly trying now. AOL didn't care. AOL did not care. Obviously, with Trump derangement syndrome having bent everybody on the left all the way down, all the way over, they are determined to find ways to stifle the ability of those on the right, which primarily Bible-believing Christians are. Almost ubiquitously, I would say. Although I know some people who... Anyways. They're trying. But hopefully we'll win that battle. I'm not entirely sure how that could come about or would come about, but yeah. Comic Book Bob says, I think social media is like any other tool. It can be used positively or it can be used recklessly and abused. Absolutely. Comic Book Bob said, liked and shared. I didn't get an alert until I was already here. And then he says, by the way, check out my stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Comic Book Bob, we can't do that. We can't do that. Today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, John Malin is launching Graveyard Shift 2. So, where do you think everybody's going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, Bob? Come on. Plan better. Last Crusader says, I was raised Baptist, became atheist, then agnostic. Now I'm looking for God. Well, come back full circle, Last Crusader. Do a full and in-depth study of the claims of the Bible. That God, only God, knows the end from the beginning. Therefore, only God knows accurate, fulfilled prophecy. Why? Great. I see it. I see it, Jojo. I see it. Did you do that? Yeah. Great. What do I want to say? Only God knows from the end of the beginning. Only God knows prophecy. Therefore, search the prophecies. Check, test them. See if they are valid. See if they are true. I came to the conclusion that they were, because Ezekiel prophesying 3,000 years beforehand to the exact day that Israel became a nation in May 14th, 1948. If you can come up with some other explanation, and self-fulfilling prophecy, your self-fulfilling prophecy, if you abide the self-fulfilling prophecy garbage, you have to explain how the Jews convinced Hitler to murder 6 million of them in order to change the sentiment in the United Nations, or what was it? North American? Not North American. Or whatever, the Europe, I can't remember. brain farting. How they convinced the UK to grant all the stuff that had to get involved into giving Israel the land, and then Israel becoming that nation in that exact moment of time, 3,000 years after the fact of that prophecy having been written, and then the key ingredient to that prophecy not even having been discovered until the 1980s, which is the sevenfold. Right? There's a seven. Look all that stuff up, and then tell me how that book or that compilation of books could possibly have been written by human beings. Because I studied all these things for probably about a year before it finally clicked with me that there's no way this book was written by human hands alone. Right? And then I was faced with a choice. Was this written by time-traveling space aliens determined to fool the world? Or was it written by the author who claims authorship? And so I went with God, and that's when my life turned course. So I suggest to you, do your own study. DYOR. Do your own research. Last Crusader says, for the record, this is my favorite channel. Don't tell EVS. All right. Daniel C says, thanks for the answer. I'm going to head back of the class now and listen. Right on. Liam for $5 says, let's go tinfoil. Twitter exists as a tool of Satan to generate mob mentality, which is why they put such a strict character limit. Thoughts? I think the strict character limit was a direct consequence of a lack of attention span in the audience. I can't say in the creators because I know the founders are like my age, roughly. Actually, one of the founders of Twitter is a family friend. I don't know him personally. I've met him, but I don't know him personally. But yeah, his wife is the sister of my sister-in-law's best friend. And so it's all interesting. When you're from San Jose, you're like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing with tech giants. If you're from San Jose, is like 2 or 3 degrees of separation. San Jose is really not a big town. Are those your inking brushes, Mike? Are those your inking brushed, Mike? What are you talking about? No, those were chopsticks. I did not get a notification this time. I usually get your notification, says Elric. I don't know. I think maybe it's because I said men are stronger than women. That's my title in 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You don't know what 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon is? This is funny because my friend Matt and I used to do this game, but before it was called 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, we would just kind of do it when we went on road trips. So what you do is you take 2 people, right? And you're like, all right, give me... Oh, actually, the Kevin Bacon version, it always starts with Kevin Bacon. And you're like, get from Kevin Bacon to Cher. And then you have to be like, all right, well, Kevin Bacon was in a movie with John Lithgow. John Lithgow was in a movie with I don't know, but you're supposed to get to the other actor or actress within 6 degrees, 6 connections. And yeah, me and my friend and I used to do that in the car all the time. We'd be like, all right, get from Val Kilmer to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, wait, weren't they in that movie? Oh, no. Well, that's easy, because you get the bat. Anyways, your cousin aunt's father's former roommate. No, my friend's sister-in-law, if you want to just do it that way. But it's, by family friend, I have to go through my brother's ex-wife's best friend, is sisters with the wife of a founder of Twitter. Liam Grace is the third strongest woman in the world, went around bars in Ireland to arm wrestle average guys and couldn't win to help spread awareness. Media silent. Oh yeah, let's get to the actual story here. Are we at a half an hour? Oh, we're 40 minutes in. Ooh, I am way behind. Sorry. Transition. Sorry, that's the button I have to hit to show this. Transgender athlete wins women's weightlifting event at the Pacific Games. Well, a transgender woman won 2 gold medals and a silver medal at the Pacific Games in Samoa Saturday. Laurel Hubbard, a weightlifter from New Zealand, won in a snatch lift and combined one in the snatch lift. So not going to go there. And combined and finished second in the clean and jerk for women weighing more than 192 pounds. I feel like I'm being trolled. According to the Washington Times, Hubbard, formerly known as Gavin Hubbard, is 41 years old and transitioned in the last decade. 18-year-old Fea Gaiga Stowers of Samoa, probably Fea Gaiga, no, that would be Hawaiian, of Samoa, finished second behind Hubbard. Hubbard's name had also been in the news recently for a court case related to an October car crash. The athlete's car fishtailed in a curve and hit a vehicle carrying an Australian couple in their 60s. The driver spent 12 days in the hospital for spinal surgery. A judge discharged Hubbard without charge after ordering the 41-year-old to pay $12,774 to the victims. According to the New Zealand Herald, the judge also ordered that Hubbard's name be suppressed in the record until September 30th, 2019. The judge in the case believed that the publication of Hubbard's name at that point would be likely to cause extreme hardship in the athlete's bid to qualify for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Well, that doesn't... After an appeal by Stuff Limited, Judge Gerald Nation overturned the suppression order. He said the publication of Miss Hubbard's name in connection with these proceedings may lead to hurtful and bullying type of comments on social media. Oh, protect! But any hardship she might suffer from that is not likely to be any different from similar hardships she may well have suffered in connection to publicity as to her sporting endeavors. Hubbard's victory is just the latest in a series for transgender athletes in women's sports. In February, a pair of transgender athletes finished first and second in the 55-meter dash at the Connecticut State Track Championships. Christian headlines were previously reported. Tennis great Martina Navratilova has garnered headlines in recent months for her opposition to transgender athletes competing in women's sports. In an op-ed at the Washington Post, which she co-authored with Duke Law professor Dorian Coleman and four-time Olympic gold medalist Sanya Richards-Ross, the authors argued that men, even those taking testosterone-suppressing drugs, have an unfair advantage over female athletes. Really? Hubbard disagrees. In an interview with Stuff, Hubbard said that since it has taken so long for transgender athletes to break through women's weightlifting, perhaps the problems some people are suggesting aren't perhaps what they might seem. That's me doing Hubbard's voice. It's ma'am. Yeah, well, ma'am, pick another hobby. Pick another profession. Like it or not, there's this thing called reality. And in reality, men are physically stronger than women. I'm not going to say they're emotionally stronger than women. That's a case-by-case basis. I'm not going to say they're intellectually stronger than women. That is also a case-by-case basis. But men by far and wide, in general, as a matter of truth and reality, are physically stronger than women. So the idea, how does anyone think this is a good idea? Anyone, transgender or otherwise, should realize there's reality you have to deal with. And if you want to have a co-ed competition, then go ahead, right? Hey, you want to mix men and women together on a football field? That's not going to work. You want to pit men against women in wrestling? You want to pit men against women? You want to do that, go ahead. But don't get up there with your, XY chromosomes and try to compete and crush your YY competition, because it's just fact that men are stronger than women. Get over it. Get over it. And is this just a case of some bizarre mental illness where if you what's the word? You transition and you need to show that you can dominate women. I think that's more of a mental issue with you. If you want to be a woman, but by wanting to be a woman, you need to show that you can dominate other women. Well, I think you've probably got, well, it goes without saying, you've got a basket of mental problems you need to deal with. WK said, this is starting to resemble Bruce Jenner putting on a wig to avoid prison for hit and run. I can't discuss this on Twitter because I'll get banned. So I came here to discuss it. Stop with Camel. Those are normal terms in lifting. Old school normal use of the words tells a lot about people's minds today who can't understand them. I know, but usually there's not certain other connotations. Anyways, Comic Book Bob, like I said earlier, if you want a horrific example of this, check out Fallon Fox's MMA fight against Tamika Brents. Brents said she had never felt so dominated. Yeah, I've seen that. And Elric says, gee, I wonder why. I know. Fox not only fractured Brent's skull, she refused to stop until she KO'd her. Well, let's just call it what it is. That is a man abusing a woman, and that is a mental issue. That is a psychological issue that they just really need to find some better way to deal with. And I do have a solution. Keep freaking men out of women's sports. All right? There's your solution. If you don't like it, you're... I shouldn't say things that come to the top of my head. How much did that 18-year-old girl weigh? I don't know. It's an abortion of common sense to ever consider men in women's sports, says Sopwith Camel. Yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. Women can't compete physically with... I can't say in every single sport. I don't know. Are there sports where women are actually better than men? Let's see. It's a good question. Are there any sports where women are better than men? Figure skating. Well, I'd rather watch a woman figure skate. 7 sports. Here we go. From BuzzFeed. From BuzzFeed. 7 sports in which women have beaten men. Horseback riding. Okay. Given. If you're riding a horse, Oh, there we go. Tennis. Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs in 1973. So, yeah, once in the past 100 years, a woman beat a man in tennis. It's terrible. I know there's probably other cases. Wrestling. Michaela Hutchinson became the first girl to win a state title against boys in high school wrestling. Said one boy who lost to her, "I expected it. She's good." She tried out for the Olympics this year, but was eliminated in the trial semifinals. Interesting. So some high school girl beat a high school boy. That's not a sport in which women. Oh, this is just in which women have beaten men, not sports in which women are better than men. So in general, I don't know. I have nothing to say about equestrians. I don't think it matters because that's not. You're riding a horse. Tennis, I would say in general, men would beat women. In wrestling, I would say almost unanimously, men would beat women. Bowling? No, I don't think that's necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily male or female, because it's accuracy. Race car driving, same thing. I don't think that would. I don't think women choose to go into race car driving, but what the heck? I think the start the can I just go through the list? I think the stereotype that women are bad drivers is not necessarily true. Rock climbing? No freaking way are women better at rock climbing. Well, they are lighter. It's all about the grip and, muscle to weight ratio and whatnot. And if women are lighter, it might be possible. Well, no, because women don't have the upper body strength. No, ubiquitously, men would be better than women at rock climbing. Ultra marathon. What is that? I don't even know what that is. She was the first person to ever run 300 miles without sleeping. Women do have a greater tolerance to pain, so it's possible they have a greater level of endurance. So let's give it to them. I don't know if it's true though. I'm just trying to be nice. I don't know if it's true, so I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Once doesn't make it the rule. I know. Women are good. Oh, Thor. I can see a sport based entirely on skill and subjectively judged. That is a rare case, however. I hear, I've never checked the stats on it, that women are better than men at sharpshooting or target shooting. Anyone? I don't really want to look it up. I don't really want to look it up. We got about 8 minutes left here. Gymnastics. Certain gymnastics, like dancing with balls and stuff. Darts. No, but if you're talking gymnastics, the men are going to be able to do all the upper body strength stuff better than the women. That's just... It's disappointing. I remember one time, Eden's got 4 brothers. And I remember one time we were at the park and we were doing... and Eden's really, really strong, right? For a girl. She's like muscle. She's like solid freaking muscle. But we went to do pull-ups. And, Micah was doing pull-ups. Isaac was doing pull-ups. Elijah was doing pull-ups. I was doing pull-ups. Eden couldn't do pull-ups. And she got so frustrated. It's like, I hate to break it to you, honey, but you're a girl. And I swear she's the strongest girl. She was the strongest girl in her class. She's probably the strongest girl in her school right now. I wouldn't say she's the strongest girl at church because there's just one girl who does Brazilian jiu-jitsu who's like, but she's probably the second strongest girl at church, and she couldn't do pull-ups. It's just the reality. Just the reality. Isn't being good at rock climbing just not falling to your death? Well, let's call that base level good. Women are faster and lighter for sure. Women are faster? Let's see. Fastest 100 meters women's. 10.49 seconds. Men. 9.58 seconds. Sorry. Women are not faster than men. Look up gymnastics. That is actually interesting. Well, gymnastics is like an entire field. Gymnastics isn't like one event, right? And yeah, the things where it's leg strength, I can certainly see comparative, or even possibly tipping it towards the women, because you have leg strength and you have minimal upper body weight distribution. I could see where they would have a benefit there, but anything with requiring upper body strength, men are just going to be better at it. Reality. I know, reality sucks. I know it's juvenile. I laughed at the balls thing. What balls thing? Was there a balls thing? Did I say something? Oh my gosh. I did not mean that at all. I meant, they do the dancing with the balls, or the hula hoops, or the whatever stuff they throw up in the ribbons. Rock climbing is super hard, fam. Yeah, it is. Serena says, women are not faster. We have wide hips and shorter strides and less lung capacity. Also running is hard, says Liberty Bell. Go party time. I'm just thinking of all the times my mom would run after me with a belt. Chris says men are stronger on average. The soy boys are helping to equalize things. It's true. Knows me aguite periente says, we would have had time travel by now if it wasn't for religious people thinking they know it all. Yeah, I'm sure. Stop with camel. A woman's body is devoted to being able to carry a baby and give birth. That would kill a man. It's a feat we should not disregard. Oh, I know. They are the fountain of life. I love women's. I just also love reality. And in reality, men are stronger than women. Except for, like I said, because they are designed for giving birth, they have a higher tolerance for pain. So if tolerance for pain is a sport, I give it to the women. Serena says, darn it, Mike, you've stopped time travel from being real.
Well, time travel did exist. It would probably go horribly wrong.
Yeah. Liberty Bell says the same thing. I don't want time travel. No way that goes well. No way, indeed, would that ever go well. The only one who should be able to time travel is the one who can, and that's God. Thank God for God. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this fellowship and this program. I'm blessed to be able to come here and spend time with you every day and utilize my time in an effort to just share God's love and information and hopefully God's word, and hopefully I touch some of you once. Well, hopefully God touches you in some way through what we do here every day. over to LoneStarComic.com. Grab yourself some Monster Hunt if you have not already. Get over to Kickstarter, Masters of Mayhem. Help my son to make something of his life.
54% funded.
He's 54% funded. Chris Chambers says, Mike, touch me and I'm telling. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. I will see you later today or tomorrow. One or the other. God bless.